Hello. Today I wanted to talk about story and making stories. It's something that I'm interested in, partly as a teacher. You know, when you make a lesson, you're always telling stories, but also just all humans. We spend time telling stories. My shelves are full of stories, all fiction and non-fiction needs a way to tell a story. Of course, but I find it quite interesting how we tell stories. And is there one story or one way of telling a story that explains everything? What I'm trying to say is a universal story. A universal means true of everything. Is there a story type that is true of every story? I don't think there's exactly one, but the closest we've got was found or was talked about by a guy called Joseph Campbell. I think in 1940 something, 1948, he published a book called The Hero with a Thousand Faces. And he analyzed 1,000 famous stories from history of all different cultures and tried to find how things were the same in the story. And and then came up with the perfect story or the typical story elements. What? Let me read to you. This is what I put in bold here. This is his theory of a universal story. Okay, here's the typical story. An ordinary person, a usual person, goes on a journey, takes a big trip, crossing from the known world into the unknown. So you start somewhere and go into a new difficult thing, a new difficult world. With help, he or she, it's usually a he, but it could be a she, he or she survives several key trials, many big problems, and then finally beats a final challenge, the biggest challenge, and then returns to the known world, comes back home as the hero. So that is your basic story. So the key elements are you must be an ordinary person, go on a journey from your world into a new world, have lots of difficulties, fight, or struggles, and then come back to your original world as the hero. Right? What? It's all very theoretical. Let me give you some examples. I've written down some examples where this fits very well. Well, recently, Harry Potter. If you know the basic Harry Potter story, you have an ordinary person, Harry Potter, he's just a schoolboy, who goes on a journey. He goes to Hogwarts, this school, where he has many adventures in this unknown world, fighting against, was it Voldemort, with his friends. Um, he survives several key trials only to beat the final challenge and return to the known world as the hero. That's right. And then he fights, eventually at the end of the seven episodes, he fights Voldemort and wins and can return to his normal life. But it's no longer a normal life. He's now the hero. So he's solved all of his problems. That's Harry Potter. It's true also for the Wizard of Oz. Do you know the Wizard of Oz with Dorothy goes to Kansas? She's in her ordinary, not very good world in Kansas. There's a tornado and it takes her to the magic world where she fights the Wicked Witch of the East, is it? Or the West? I can't remember. And returns home, clicks her heels and comes home. Cinderella. So it's not just battles, it could be romance. Cinderella is an ordinary person. She's working in her house. She's got many problems, but she enters into the magical world. She goes to the ball. Her fairy godmother gives her a beautiful dress. She goes into the magic world, into a different world, uh, and then returns. Does that fit exactly? I'm not sure. But many struggles, and then she finally fights the wicked stepmother by fitting her into the shoes. Oh, I forget the story, but anyway. I don't know, Cinderella, but also even in not only just stories that we tell, but also like religion, religious stories that we tell. If you know about Jesus, that follows the same idea of an ordinary person who goes who has many struggles and then returns to the old world as a hero. Same with Buddha, I think. Buddha goes on a discovery and returns with the knowledge. And Muhammad, that's the Islam. So these stories are so part of human nature, they're even in our religions, I think. I don't know much about the Japanese religion. Is there a story like this? Okay, that's kind of all theoretical. Let's see, I've got some more things here. I noticed, I read somewhere from a screenwriter, somebody who writes movies, who was giving help. If you're interested in writing a movie, he said, if you want to write a story, you need to answer these 6 questions. Every story answers these 6 questions. Who is it about? What do they want? Why can't they get it? What do they do about it? Why doesn't that work? And how does it end? If you think you can slot in any kind of a story, if we're using Harry Potter as an example, who's it about? It's about Harry Potter. What do they want? They want to find their parents, don't they? I think he wants to find his place in the world. Why can't they get it? Because he's in the real world under the stairs. What do they do about it? He joins together with Hermione and Ron, and they go on adventures. Why doesn't that work? Oh, he can't solve it until he admits that he has the magic power, I think. How does it end? He beats Voldemort. Something like that. I'm not totally familiar with Harry Potter. But anyway, so you can see there's sort of 6 questions. And if you can answer these 6 questions, you can make a story. Whew. Let's have a look. Let's get some three questions here as my usual way. Question 1, do Japanese stories follow the same format, the same style of journey? Are there any differences? Can you think of a story that fits this model? I've said Harry Potter and Wizard of Oz. Can you think of any others? Or can you think of some that don't fit? And number 3, if you like, tell me a brief story, either true or imaginary. You can make it up. And in that story, did you answer the 6 questions every story must answer? If you did, then that's a good story. If you've got something missing, then it's not a good story, not a complete story. So, okay, so you got those 6 points here and the basic universal story. Wow. Quite difficult idea, isn't it? But if you understand this basic story, I think you can see it repeated in many stories that you hear, like children's stories. And I think it's true of Japanese stories as well, but you know more Japanese stories than I do. So I'll be interested to hear what you think. Okay. Have a nice time. I'll see you and talk about this shortly. Thank you. Bye. Oh, I'm still here. How do you turn this off? Stop recording. Okay, see you.